The most important thing for effective social media training is to make sure that the goals of your entire social media strategy are clear to your entire staff. Because if they don't know the goals that you're going for with your campaign, they're not going to be able to effectively broadcast and advocate on behalf of your brand. You should never put too many restrictions on your employees when it comes to social media. It's easy to think as a CEO or as a CMO or anyone in upper management that I can't let all my employees be on social media because that's all they're going to do all day and they're not going to get anything done. But if you're too restrictive, it's going to create an atmosphere of paranoia or nervousness by your employees because you're looking over their shoulder, you're monitoring everything they do. So there has to be an element of trust. You can't be too restrictive when it comes to giving your employees the power to advocate for your brand. There's no right way to measure success when it comes to teaching your employees how to effectively use social media. The best thing to do is measure success across the board with your social media campaign. I don't want to see employers or CMOs get too bogged down in trying to differentiate between what employees are doing on social media and what their customers are doing on social media. Because overall, you want to see an uptick in everything across the board. So that's really the best way to measure success is look at the whole picture, not try to dive in too deeply into what my team or my staff is doing. One of the best ways to encourage your employees to participate in your social media activities is to incentivize them by using little tricks like gift cards or maybe some time off, things that don't cost you a lot of money, but are a great way to reward your employees just like you would reward a customer for their loyalty and their brand advocacy on your behalf. As a brand, as a business, a company, an organization, when you develop a social media policy, you have to include parameters that give your employees some guidelines, because otherwise it's going to be a free flow of ideas, but also kind of chaos in the workplace because they're not going to know when it's appropriate to be on Twitter, when it's appropriate to buckle down and start working. So you've got to develop those parameters within your social media policies so that as an employee, I know every Monday I'm going to get an email with some sample tweets that I could send out, and then I spend 10 minutes that day trying to connect to my social media network on behalf of my company. So if I have that idea in mind in the policy, then I'll be able to use that and get into a habit of that every single week. When it comes to developing your specific inside-out activation strategy, meaning you start from internally, inside your company, and work your way out to the public, one step that's crucial, that's easy to leave behind, is that second step where you go just outside the company to the influencers, to partners, vendors, and even people who are willing to talk about your company who may not necessarily be your big fanatics, but influencers in the space. If you're in food service, a food critic. If you're in the beauty industry, someone with a fashion blog. It's those people who can really drive the traffic to your site, the store traffic to your store, the word of mouth that you really need to create that initial buzz that's just beyond your company, but still within the influential circle that you really need to reach out to first.